You can look around too.
Look back, grab her.
That would be great for the elderly, wouldn't it?
No, they.
Whoa. I'm just about to go way down. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hey guys, how's it been? We took the day off yesterday because of Memorial Day, but we are back today with some more news in the world of marijuana. 3 stories today, actually. One quick one just to get out of the way. Nevada has passed a bill that will make it legal to have consumption sites across the entire state, so marijuana consumption sites, that is. And they are joining the ranks of Massachusetts, Colorado, California. Are there any more? Oh, and obviously New York, because that's part of the bill that just passed, the monumental bill in New York. So these states, we had talked about it before with the advent of legal marijuana on the streets. You're going to find a lot more people smoking publicly and getting in trouble doing that. So consumption sites are kind of a way to combat that. And there have been consumption sites in Vegas since 2019, but this is going to be the entire state. So that's happening. The governor's going to sign that for sure. He's all about the legal marijuana. Next, a little story that I found kind of interesting is that because of the pandemic, because of COVID, Canada and the US have closed off any non-essential traffic for their borders. Their borders are closed. And because of that, this huge influx of marijuana that has been happening over the years has been kind of stopped and now is getting a lot more scrutiny than it ever was before. Whereas in the year 2019, about 7,000 pounds of marijuana has been stopped. In the year 2020, 70,000, so 10 times more amount of marijuana was stopped at the border. And most of that was stopped around the New York border, somewhere around Buffalo, and some of it was around Vermont and also around North Dakota on the other end. Fascinating amount, and it hasn't slowed down. In 2021 already, we have stopped 13,000 pounds of marijuana, most of it being flower, but there's also some extracts that have been stopped as well. It's an interesting thing, and surely because the closing of the border is extended until June 21st, but that's 3 weeks away. So I would assume at that point things are going to open up again and there's going to be a lot less marijuana that's stopped at the border. But again, this is all just black market marijuana, so the profits has been estimated to be around $20 million lost because of this marijuana that was seized at the border. But that's all in the black market. Of course, we can have sympathy for the people who are still dealing in these states that are illegal, but it's not going to harm the entire industry of cannabis, because cannabis for the most part now is, working out in the open. And to be clear, that's only the Canada-US border. So the Mexico border has pretty much remained static. There's always been a lot of marijuana that's seized at that border, along with sea and air travel, but that's kind of stayed static around 400,000 pounds a year, which is still a huge amount of money, or a huge amount of weed, but that has kind of stayed there, and there hasn't been any change in the amount that's been seized.
It's cartoon, and so there's this air quote or whatever, and it's excited. She just went crazy with the. Don't get excited. Her hand just.
Come on. Frank, I got her.
Oh, hey.
And then finally, there's kind of an interesting story. This is more on the psilocybin side than the marijuana side, but it's fascinating. So in Seattle, there is a doctor who works with cancer patients, and specifically cancer patients who are kind of at the end of the rope. And it's more in terms of end of life care. And they're in Washington and about 41 other states, there is something called right to try, which is a law that enables you to use alternative ways of medicine for end of care that aren't necessarily available for the general public, and things like psilocybin, things like marijuana. This fits underneath the right to try law, which was signed in 2019 by Trump, actually. So this doctor, his name is Dr. Sunil Agarwal. He had applied to the Justice Department to use psilocybin for end-of-care treatment, and they denied his application. They said he cannot use that because it is under the Controlled Substances Act, and because of that, because of the federal ban, you're not able to use it unless it's a research environment. So this doctor decided to sue the Justice Department, and along with him, 8 other attorneys general from 8 other states have basically co-signed this lawsuit and are on his side, and they're all suing the government because of this. This could potentially be a really interesting lawsuit to see what happens with the idea. For sure, it will completely give us a better sense of what this right to try law is, and also it will give us a better sense of how we see psilocybin being used in the future. I had read a book called How to Change Your Mind, and it is a book mainly about psilocybin, LSD, and other psychedelics, and how it can benefit people who are dealing with depression, who are dealing with end-of-care treatment like this. And just the amount of studies that are slowly kind of trickling out are just incredible in what they're showing, the benefits of these things. If this doctor and these attorneys general decide or end up winning this lawsuit, then this right to try law will expand in an extreme amount, and we can see a lot more psilocybin being used for end of care treatment, which would be hugely beneficial, just for the anxiety and for the way that they can, end their lives in a way that's peaceful instead of just anxiety ridden and full of dread. So oral arguments are supposed to start on June 21st for that. Not sure how long that will go, but definitely we'll be following it, and we'll be very curious to see what happens with that. Those are the 3 stories today. We will be back actually tomorrow because I missed yesterday, so I'm just kind of catching up. Anyway, see you tomorrow.